लोके भक्तिर्भक्ति कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। So welcome all of you. So we shall continue our discussion from chapter 33rd, activities of Kapila, from third canto. So we'll just complete the discussion on two more verses and then take some questions if they are there. Okay, so yesterday we had completed discussion on this important words. You can see my screen now. Yannamadheya Shravanano Kirtana. That how by chanting the holy names of the Lord or hearing the uh, Lord's Namarupa Guna Leela, remembering Him or offering obeisances to Him, we see that even person who is Shwada, one who is the dog eater, he also becomes qualified to perform the Chandra Yagya or Soma Yagya. So what to speak of then being able to see Lord face to face? That is the greatest benediction. So next verse is also in connection with that. The next verse is going to speak that what to speak of, gaining a qualification to perform Soma Yajna. One who is chanting the holy name of the Lord gains much more qualification than that. Uh, Not just performing Soma Yajna, but that person actually has done all the sacrifices, he has done all the penances, he has studied all the Vedas, he has bathed in all the holy places. So that sort of qualification is being maintained, is being explained for those who chant the holy name of the Lord. So, what to speak of just the qualification of being able to perform a Soma Yagya? He actually becomes much, much, much more qualified than that uh, in terms of the auspiciousness, punyatva. Uh, Person actually becomes so much more qualified. So that's what is the next verse. Aho batashvapachoto gadiyan yah jivagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhu sasnuradhya brahmano churnama grananti yete. Okay, so Shaligram Prabhu, you want to read translation?
Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required.
Yeah. So that's the point of the verse. You can see that. The verse is saying, Sadyah savanaya kalpate iti yaduktam tadapi na kinchit. Uh, the qualification or speciality of someone chanting the holy names, it was mentioned that immediately he becomes eligible to perform the Soma Yagya. Tadapi na kinchit. In fact, that is nothing. That is immaterial. That is insignificant. Yataha. Why? Because सोमयाग कर्तृभ्य अपि आधिक्यम एव अस्य फलतः भवेत् इत्याह. Because much more than just becoming qualified to perform Soma Yajna, this person actually becomes, the fruits that he achieves are much, much greater than that. That's the point. That's why aho bata iti ascharya-dapi etat ascharya ityartha. Aho bata, that is being used in the verse, right? So it is so, these words, avyayas, are used for the purpose of showing great wonder, astonishment. So ascharya-dapi ascharya, it is actually wonderful. It is the greatest wonder. It's not just something very extraordinary. It is actually extraordinarily extraordinary. It is very great wonder, great astonishment. So what is that astonishment? That the person who is chanting the holy names, such a person, tepus tapaha, he has performed all the penances. Juhuhu, meaning he has performed all the sacrifices. Sasnuhu, he has bathed in all the holy places. Brahma anuchuhu, Brahma here means Veda. They have studied all the Veda. That's why these are Arya. These are actually the greatest of Aryans. Even though such a person may be a Shvapacha, coming from a Shvapacha background. One may be born in a Chandal family or Mlecha family, Yavana family. But one who is chanting the holy name, such a person, he has done all these things, right? So all these qualifications, they're obviously greater than just being the qualification of a Soma Yaji Brahman, isn't it? He has done all the penances. So that is obviously higher than just being a Soma Yagya Karta. He has bathed in all holy places. He has performed all the sacrifices. Performed already, done. He's not going to do. No, done. So, Grananti Nama Gete, those who chant the holy names of the Lord. In fact, it is very interesting. Yah jivagre, yat jivagre vartate namatubhyam. The verse is not even saying that one who is chanting constantly or one who is chanting Shuddha Nam, such a person, he has performed all the penances, he has bathed in all holy places, he has performed, executed all kinds of sacrificial activities, he has studied all the Vedas. One who is chanting the Shuddha Nam, it is not saying like that. What level of chanting it is speaking? Surprisingly, Devhuti says that Aho batashvapachoto gariyan. Therefore, ataha, that Shvapacha, that Chandal is greater, Gariyan. Yasya jivagre vartate namatubhyam. So this is interesting that one who has holy name only on the tip of his tongue, jivagre. Jivagre, literally the holy name is on tip of its tongue. It's not on even Sampurna Jiva. Meaning what? One is not even pronouncing the holy name properly. Jivagre. जिह्वा के अग्र पे सिर्फ हरि नाम है, मतलब क्या? हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Huh? He is not even pronouncing it properly. Like, what is the proper pronunciation of Krishna? Huh? Krishna, Krishna. Like that, you should pronounce Krishna. Not Krishna or not Krishna. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? So here it is mentioned Yad Jivagre. The holy name is only on the Agra Bhag of Jiva. The pronouncer or the chanter does not know also how to pronounce holy name very properly by using the complete jihva. Huh? When you pronounce sh or ana, then your tongue should be in retroflex position. It should touch your talu, or rather murdha, the upper palate. Murdhanya it is. So one who knows that pronunciation, he will use the complete tongue, sampurna jivva. But the verse is saying jivvagre, only one who is using the agra, one who is only using the tip of the tongue. So if we take literally, the meaning would be something like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, like yah jivvagre. Vartate nama tubhyam, it is said. Vartate, and the holy name is there on his tongue. It's not vrittam. It is not even saying that he has completely pronounced the holy name already. So it is like you have the Mahamantra, somebody who has said Hare Krishna, that itself, not even complete Mahamantra, we are expecting. Of course, you understand the spirit, not that we skip Mahamantra or we leave it half or anything is fine. No, not like that. But the spirit of the verse is that even if somebody is chanting holy name, not perfectly pronouncing it, even if he has not yet finished the chanting, before that only the person is said to be, he has already accomplished all austerities, all sacrifices, has bathed in all the places. Uh, so it is amazing commentary Vishwan Chakravarti is writing. You can see. जिह्वाग्रे जिह्वाया अग्रे एव न तो संपूर्णायाम तस्य. The holy name is being chanted by that person without even using the complete tongue. He is probably using only the tip because he doesn't know how to pronounce the holy name properly. Samyaktaya uchcharitam, asamyaktaya, meaning one is not able to perfectly pronounce the holy name. Still, that person has performed all the bathing and all sacrifices and everything. Vartate eva na tu vrittam iti asampurna uchcharitam. The Mahamantra is not being even, I mean, he has not even completed the chanting of that. Half only, or 1/4 only, or 3/4 only has been chanted. And vartate nama, it is said. It's not even namani. Namani is bahuvachan. कई सारे नाम जो है उसका उच्चारण हो रहा है, नहीं. Even if he is chanting one holy name, not bahuvachan also, many holy names, or akhanda kirtan he is doing, and that is also not expected. So actually the aspect of holy name coming on the mouth of, coming in the mouth of someone, coming on someone's tongue, a holy name is, it's considered to be very great fortune, very extraordinary, because holy name does not appear like that easily on the tongue of a conditioned soul. So in this way, so what to speak of somebody is using his entire tongue to properly pronounce the holy name, and he's pronouncing the holy names fully. He's not eating up the syllables of Mahamantra, and he's not just chanting one Mahamantra, but he's chanting every day. whatever, 1728 Mahamantras, like that. So we see that what to speak of such a person. Kimuta, iti bhava. That's the sense. So the idea of chanting the holy name of the Lord, it is considered to be so auspicious and so special in case of a conditioned soul that, sometimes you may have these people like those who perform Vedic sacrifices or they're studying the Vedas and all, but they may not chant the holy names. They may not take the process of chanting the holy names. But this particular verse is glorifying those who take to the process of chanting the holy names. Of course, someone may say in any sort of Vedic follower, somewhere some holy name will come. Yeah, that is okay. But here it is being spoken more as a process that is taken up of chanting the holy names. You understand? Because it is talking about this aspect of Vishwanath Chakravarti says there later that such a Shvapacha, such a Chandal, he becomes uh, Atishayena Gurur Bhavati, meaning he can in fact gain a qualification of instructing to chant the holy names to others. Namatmaka mantram upadeshtum yogyatam dhatte. Such a person can instruct others to chant the holy name also. So, meaning it's a serious process that he is pursuing. It's not just a in Vedic Karma Kand, you hear some holy name, and so you are also chanting holy name. Not that sort of thing is being spoken. What is being spoken here is otherwise, if we say like that, then anybody and everybody can become know that he is there chanting the holy names. So that's not the thrust of the verse. And the thrust of the verse is in terms of Namatmaka mantram upadishtum yogyata dhatte, meaning one is regularly chanting these holy names as a process. Kirtanam, Nama Japa, Nama Smarana, Nama Kirtana, like that. So he becomes so qualified that if such a person, he in fact can instruct others in chanting the holy names. That mantra upadeshta, one who is instructing in that mantra. So here it means namatmaka mantra. It is actually talking about being able to give harinam to someone, not so much talking about the aspect of giving the Gayatri initiations or like that. Yes, that also can happen, provided such a person, he shows that level of seriousness in bhakti and one himself undergoes the Gayatri initiation. And then if such a person attains the stage of Guru, then he can also instruct others in that Gayatri initiations and all. But Namatmaka mantra, such a thing, he says that anyone who is chanting the holy names, such a person can certainly instruct others to chant the holy names also. So you can see, like Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also Namatmaka mantra, isn't it? So such a person, he attains the qualification if he chanting the holy names in a regular manner. Prabhupada puts a greater qualification by saying at least one is chanting on the level of Namabhas or so serious. Vallabhacharya says that at least one should have taken initiation uh, from a bona fide guru and one is chanting the holy name seriously, then such a person can instruct others in chanting the holy names also in that particular way. So you can see. So that's why such is the glory of chanting the holy names that actually someone taking to the process of chanting of the holy names, it is not that common in the Vedic paths. Someone may be following karma kand, jnana kand, or yoga paths, but not necessarily that they would be chanting the holy names. As a regular process, that is our point. So this is it. So we see that such a chanter is being said to be greater than even uh, he's greater than even someone who is a brahmana or like that. He Gariyan, he is very, very superior. So someone may question then, but how is that such a person? Has he done any yagya, dana, tapa, and all that? So that's why these next two lines are addressing that idea. Yes, actually, such a person has already performed all the penances, has already performed all the sacrifices and all. So, point is that he is already having the phala of these things. We don't have to assume that such a person who is chanting the holy names has necessarily done all the study of the Vedas, has necessarily performed all the sacrifices. It may not be the case, right? If some great acharya like Prabhupada goes and gives that mercy to the mlechas and yavanas of the Western world, or whatever, even the Eastern world, Indian people also. So it is when they are chanting holy names, are we saying that each one of them has already performed all the penances in last life or like that? It may or may not be true. Uh, But point is that if they have accepted the process of chanting the holy names, the result is already attained. This is the point. The result of bathing in all places, the result of performing all sacrifices, the result of so phala is there, right? Like we can give some example. Someone may have actually gone through education and he must have completed graduation, post-graduation, and has a PhD eventually. So he has a doctorate in certain subject. And someone else may not have taken up that education, but we see that the person had studied so much and he's a great knowledge base, and that's why sometimes they may offer such a person some honorary PhD in that subject. So the point is that one did not take the course of action of going through that graduation and this and that, but one has eventually the fruit of that. Such a course of action, the fruit would be finally the knowledge that you have of that subject matter. And similarly, this person who is getting a honorary PhD also has the knowledge of that subject matter of that level. So then you will consider that he already has the fruit of that. So similarly, the verse is speaking in that line, this verse also, that those who have chanted the holy names, they have already accomplished the fruit of all these things, because that's how the holy name of the Lord is so rare that one who is chanting it, so then that person is actually he has already accomplished the goal of all these other paths that they are there. And you can say that tepuhu, juhuhu, these are all past tense, means one has done it already. Not that he will do in the future. Now that he chanting holy names, so soon he will do these pious activities also. So you should respect him. No, not in the future he will do. He has already done it, like that. Like someone, same example, somebody is having great knowledge, and you may say, so actually he is also now he will soon get a PhD. So you should respect him because he is also very knowledgeable. No, he is not. He'll not. He will soon get. He's already got it. He already has accomplished it. So that's the sense here also. He has long back accomplished it, in fact. Those of you know who Sanskrit, if you know Sanskrit, tepuhu, juhuhu, this is paroksha bhutkal, meaning something which has happened long back, like uvacha. These are not immediate past. These are very remote past. So one who has accomplished this long, much before. Meaning the qualification to chant the holy name is like so much ahead of these things that it is being spoken like, oh, he's already accomplished this way back in the past. Yes, bathed in the all the tirthas, and he has studied all the scriptures and everything. You understand? So that's actually how the holy name is being glorified. It is a very special glorification. So that's why tanste katham punaha kuryu. So why should devotees now perform all these things like bathing in the all the tithas and studying all the Vedas and all this? This is not needed for devotees. Karmasu anadhikar. It is showing that the devotees, they actually they don't have anything to do with the path of karma. Uh, So that's why it is showing that they have already done it, meaning they don't have to do it now. And now you don't expect, they are chanting the holy names, they have taken Navavidha Bhakti process. Now you don't expect them to do all these things. They have already done it. Right? Unless and until that Loka Vichar, somebody is setting up some example, just wants to show how Vedic Varnashrama is. He has that seva of showing what is Vedic Varnashrama. So that's why he is doing it. So that is different story. But if you are a follower of bhakti process and you don't have to set any such example, you are setting the example of what is Navavidha Bhakti straight away, clearly. So then we see that for such a people, karma, they don't have to do anything with karma. अब भक्तानाम कर्मसु अनधिकारोपि भक्तों का कर्म से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. They are ineligible for karma, which means that they are disinterested in karma. This way. So that's why. uh, So that is the glory of someone who is chanting the holy name of the Lord. In fact, Grinanti, which means they are chanting. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says, don't take the meaning also as Akhanda Harinam. Somebody who is chanting 24 hours, for them this will apply. He says, no, not like that also. We should not explain in that way. But anyone who has taken up to the process of chanting the holy names. So for such a person, this glorification is being done. Okay, Prabhupada. So as I said, Prabhupada keeps the chanting, that level of chanting as the offenseless chanting. So which is certainly a very desirable platform of chanting. As stated in previous verse, a person who has once offenselessly chanted the holy name becomes immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. One should not be astonished by this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not disbelieve or think, how by chanting the holy name of the Lord can one become a holy man to be compared to the most elevated Brahmana? To eradicate such doubts in minds of unbelievers, this verse affirms that this stage of chanting of holy name of the Lord is not sudden, but that the chanters have already performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and sacrifices. So, one who is coming to that level, he has already surpassed the stage of all Vedic rituals and sacrifices. So that's why one should not express surprise. How is this possible? That he is more exalted than even a Brahmana. Right? There may be some Brahmana born in India and he does not chant the holy names. And there may be some Shudra or Mleccha Yavana who is born in the Western countries, but he's chanting the holy names. So who is greater? So objectively speaking, people may think like, oh, Brahmana only has to be greater. He is born in this place. And yes, that speciality is there. But now by that chanting the holy name, taking that process of chanting the holy name, the whole thing becomes flipped completely. It is flipping the whole eligibility scenario. So such a person is actually, chanter is considered to be superior. One does not have to chant the holy name and understand the whole procedure also. One may not understand what is offensive stage, offenseless, pure. If the holy name is sounded on the tip of the tongue, that is also sufficient. Nama, like Krishna or Rama, is being chanted, and not like Akhanda Harinam you are doing. It is not that one has to chant all the holy names. Rama, Madhusudana, Lakshmana, Nrasimha, Vamana, Ashutosh, Janardana. No, not even all that. Someone may just chant one holy name or two holy names or three holy names or like that, right? So we see that even such a person, he's he's glorified here. If one chants once only, it is to be understood that he has already passed all the examination. Not to speak of those who are chanting always 24 hours a day, like that. So it's talking about even a chanting which is not necessarily 24 hours, but it is a limited Sankhya Purvak kind of chanting. Tubhyam vartate nama tubhyam, unto you only. One must chant God's name and not some demigods or Shaktis or like that names. Bhautik Shakti, material energy. So you see that that's the meaning here. The holy name has to be chanted to please the Supreme Lord and not for any sense gratification or professional purpose. That's the sense of tubhyam, vartate nama tubhyam. If this pure mentality is there, then even though a person is born of a low family, such as dog eaters, he is so glorious that not only he has purified himself, but he is quite competent to deliver others. So you see, this is also talking about the quality of the holy name that we are speaking, right? Somebody in Karmakand just saying one holy name like Vishnu or Vamana, but is that Karmakandi person chanting it with the sense of Tubhyam, Vartate Nama Tubhyam, for your pleasure? It may not be. It may be purely for self gratification purpose. So if that pure mentality is missing, then we will not say such a thing for him, no? Te pustapaste juhu sasnuadya. Oh, he has done all the sacrifices done. No, it's not applicable to such a person. So you can see there is certainly the aspect of quality over here, right? So that Shraddha, that Shastriya Shraddha, Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoye. That's a very important factor. So such a person can in fact deliver the whole world by sharing the nama and even sharing the mantra if he is qualified. Uh, like Thakur Haridas, he was a namacharya and he is acting as Jagat Guru. He can deliver by giving the holy names. He was preaching actually. He was inspiring so many people to chant the holy names, right? But being from a certain background, he did not become the mantra guru, although he spread the holy name so much. So he spoke about nama, but he did not speak about mantra, which is by which I mean the Gayatri mantras, Pancharatriki mantras, this way. But if, especially the way Prabhupada institutionalized, if the devotee becomes qualified by which he can even offer the mantra to others, then that should be accepted. There is a hereditary class of Brahmanas called the Smartha Brahmanas, however, who are of the opinion that even if such persons who are chanting the holy name of the Lord are accepted as purified, they still have to perform Vedic rites or await their next birth in a family of Brahmanas so that they can perform the Vedic rituals. But actually, this is not the case. such a man does not need to wait for the next birth to become purified. He's at once purified. So you understand, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is considered to be extraordinarily special qualification. But then there is also some level of quality to that chanting. It should have the aspect of pure Shraddha for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. It should also have a aspect of regularity, right? It's not just once in a while chanting something here or there. But one who has accepted that process seriously as a sadhana, understanding the transcendental nature of the holy name, this aspect. And then, yes, if one wants to also act as a guru, mantra guru, then one should be even more further qualified. So these aspects also should be clear. The very word grananti, which is used in this verse, means to be already established on the perfectional stage of ritualistic performance. If one is seated on the bench of a high court and giving judgment, it means that he has already passed all legal exams. So Prabhupada is also giving this example, you can see. If he's sitting there as a judge and giving verdicts, so obviously it means that he has already passed all the legal exams and everything. He's much better than those who are going to study the law or they're right now studying. He's already accomplished, no? He's a judge already. So similarly, one who is chanting the holy names, he has already gone through all this. He is actually much better situated in this way. All right, so that completes the discussion. So that's why Prabhupada, we see that he preached holy names with such great vigor. Prabhupada's entire life is demonstration of this particular verse, right? The way he empowered his disciples coming from the Western world. And then we see that those personalities became such exalted spiritual masters that they are delivering the whole world. So that's how we see that the Shastra also has to be demonstrated practically in one's life. Otherwise, our appreciation for these principles, how are we showing that? Sometimes even certain pockets of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, they read these verses, but they don't want to apply them. They don't want to accept it in practice. So then what sort of appreciation is that, right? You read these sort of verses, but still you want to maintain that by birth Brahman and all that thing. So then it's not being in sync, no? Precept and practice are not in sync. So that's why she just offers her obeisances, and yes, stops her glorification. Tam tvamaham brahma param pumamsam pratyakstrottasyaatmani samvibhavyam स्वतेजसाध्वस्तगुणप्रवाहम् वन्दे विष्णुं कपिलं वेदगर्भम्. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
I believe, my Lord, that you are Lord Vishnu himself, under the name of Kapila, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman. The saints and sages, being freed from all the disturbances of the senses and mind, meditate upon you. For by your mercy only can one become free from the clutches of the three modes of material nature. At the time of dissolution, all the Vedas are sustained in you only.
Yeah. So that's why she says, I offer my obeisances to that Lord Vishnu who has appeared in my womb as Kapila, Vedagarbha, one who is the repository of all the Vedas, Prabhupada says. Right from his breathing come out the Vedas. Supreme Lord's breath. So I offer my obeisances to that Lord, yourself. You are Brahma. You are Param Pumamsam. You are actually Brahman. You are Paramatma. Pratyak Strotrasyatmani Samvibhavyam. So it basically means that you actually can be realized samvibhavyam. You can be realized in that particular mind or heart which is tuned into the Supreme Lord, which is full of devotion for the Supreme Lord. Swatejasa dhvasta guna pravaham. By his uh, by his potency, he clears of all the influence of three modes of material nature. So I offer my respectful obeisances to that Supreme Lord. Uh, अतः त्वामहम अज्ञा स्तोतुम नैव प्रभवामि इति केवलम वंदे तम इति. So therefore, actually, I am such an ignorant soul, Devahoti is saying, that I am not even capable to glorify you properly because such is your glory that I cannot fathom it, right? Huh? Even in Lalit Madhav, there are these two kings who come to Dwaraka, and then they say that, my dear Lord, when a conditioned soul tries to glorify you, it actually becomes insult for you. Right? Uh, when Because as a conditioned soul, we don't know the glory of the Lord. So even the glorification sometimes may turn into an insult. Just like they give example of calling a billionaire or calling someone who owns the entire, he's a king, and that king, if you call him as Gramesh, you call him as the lord of few villages. Like somebody is a billionaire and you say that प्रभु जी के पास बहुत पैसा है. कितना पैसा है? हाँ, हजारों रुपए है उनके पास. हजारों, you know what it will become like. The person may feel offended. What is thousands? I have crores of rupees, hundreds of crores. So that's how, without knowing proper glory, the glorification can turn into insult also. So, not that we don't glorify the Lord, but point is, yeah, sometimes we become proud of our glorification of the Lord also, right? So she is saying, I actually even not capable of glorifying you, my Lord. I just offer my obeisances. Same mood is the same mood bhaktas have, right? Even Mother Kunti also had same mood. Uh, what can I speak about you? Just namaste purusham tu adyam prakriti alaksham sarvabhutanam. She says that I just offered my obeisances. What can I glorify you? I don't have even the qualification. Right? So, yes, this Supreme Lord, he can be realized in a heart which is turned inward, which is free from the desire of material enjoyment. Pratyak strotasyatmani samvibhavyam. Uh, Devahuti, the mother of Kapila, instead of prolonging her prayers, summarized that Lord Kapila was none other than Vishnu. And since she was a woman, it was not possible for her to worship him. Although, of course, she's not an ordinary woman, she is the most qualified person and pure devotee of Krishna. Right? It was her intention that the Lord be satisfied. Pratyahar, pratyak strotasya atmani, that word Prabhupada is translating. So pratyak strotasya meaning it refers to this pratyahar stage. So the mind which is at the level of pratyahar, in the sense that the mind which has gone away from all desires for sense gratification, pure mind, antakaran shuddhi is already there. So in that heart, then one can meditate on the Supreme Lord. All right. So that completes this prayer section. Are there any questions on this section, on the prayer section? Because now rest of the chapter we will go quickly. It will not take much time. Yes, Panduranga Sharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you so much. Just wanted to get some clarity on thought that Kapil Dev is Satyavash avatar, no?
No, Kapila is Vishnu. Vishnu
Okay.
Tattva.
So I'm okay.
Yeah. He has a Vaikuntha called Kapila Vaikuntha,
Okay.
spiritual world.
Okay.
Okay. Parjanya Priya Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Parjanya Priya Prabhu. Can't hear.
Hare Krishna, can you hear Prabhuji?
Now I can.
Prabhuji, these last two verses, these are exceptional verses. And I'm remembering that like we have countless living entities, infinite living entities in this material world. And we see in this Madhurya Kadambini that there how we come in association with devotees. And I recently come across a verse in some forum that they are infinite jiva, even an atom also. So in one way, we can see that how fortunate we are that we have come to this stage in this at the time memorial time that now we are able to chant this. Maybe I guess this seems to be an exception ki he has taken as a birth as a dog eater, because if he is chanting the holiness of the Lord, he has already, like, one of my thing was thinking like Veding all the Vedas has been read, so I guess that's why reading Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita, because now there's nothing else to be read now. It is the sense of everything. We can see in that way also. And secondly, this seems to be exception that due to the क्या कहते हैं, trick or will of the providence, he might have taken birth as a क्या कहते हैं, super dog eater, but most probably he was about to get a very high birth, but something happened by trick of the providence, and now he have become a dog eater, something like that. And मतलब, and I feel कि ठीक है, so many fences are there, so many things are there, it may take some lifetimes, but now I think that success is only few lifetimes away. Maybe it depend on our intensity and seriousness in this life and upcoming lives, how we take
Yes.
it. Yeah, so maybe in few lives, maybe 100 more, but almost we have reached our end of this infinite cycles of universes and lifetimes, and how fortunate we are. In that sense, it can be seen. Is this verse can be seen?
Okay. See, how does one receive bhakti? So now, when we talk about receiving Uttama Bhakti, is it that we have practiced Uttama Bhakti in prior life, and that's why now we came in this life back to Uttama Bhakti? It may or may not be possible, and not necessarily like that. So, we coming to the stage of chanting the holy names of the Lord, it can also be absolutely the mercy of aspect of acharyas like Prabhupada, right? Uh, so, as a devotee, one will be actually, in fact, more open to such an idea that I didn't have any prior credits. I actually has have been given great mercy by somebody like Prabhupada, by Guru Maharaj, and by their association, somehow, even though my mind was not so much interested in Krishna consciousness, it has accepted this Krishna consciousness to a certain commitment. So, this is how a devotee may want to think. Now, it is quite possible that somebody may have practiced bhakti prior life, and that's how one is now again come back to bhakti, path of bhakti, and he may be, in fact, very near to perfection also. It is possible, but I would say it is just one possibility, right? It is not the only possibility. The verse is also not speaking in that manner, that for anybody who is chanting the holy names, they have necessarily done all these activities. I was saying That's why I said also these two. One is getting a PhD by regular course and getting a PhD by the honorary aspect. So, Shraddha, how that Shraddha has come in our life. So that Shraddha may have come by prior cultivation of Shraddha, or it may have come by completely in this life because of a great devotee's power and also because of Vaishnava's association. Very fortunately, somehow you have utilized your free will in a nice manner. And that's why now, uh, by their mercy, you are growing nicely in the bhakti this way. So, what you are saying, that can also be one possibility. But as a devotee, at least devotee does not think like that so much. That he just thinks that this is great mercy of spiritual master. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena. One who has opened my eyes, meaning previously they were closed. They were not half closed, or they were not three-fourth closed. They were completely closed, like that. And by His mercy, they have been opened up this way. So, yes, Prabhu, all these possibilities lie over here. It's just that gaining the qualification to chant the holy names is like so exalted that whether you got it because of practice of prior bhakti or whether you got it because you have almost 90% completed in prior life or because you have 0% from prior life. In either of the case, that phalena parichiyate, that phala of chanting the holy names, committing to that process is so exalted that Shastras then make statement like this. Hey, he has already studied everything. He has already bathed. You don't tell him now to do all these things. He has already accomplished everything. That's why he is there on that particular kind of level. So this is the point of the verse. So did I address your question or comment, whatever it is?
Yes, probably. So the question, let us comment. Yeah. Anyways, my point was that anyways, we have learned in Madhurya Kadamni that we have got bhakti in this life, prior life by devotee only. That is for sure.
That is
But I
for
was
sure.
trying to connect the point that for so many things, so many lifetimes has been past practicing. Maybe I was trying. We have done so many things because so many lifetime and past time memorial. So now so many jivas are there. So many already jivas have gone back to world. Infinite jivas have gone, and because infinite thing is going on, infinite are still remaining. And now it's some devotees because infinite jivas are now we are in this process. Luckily, fortunately, we have
No
got that
doubt about it.
holy name.
That is perfect.
And
Yes, that's perfect. No problem like that. So, yes, Prabhu, that is very special. Somebody coming to chant the holy names and committing to Uttama Bhakti. Uh, There is this famous verse of Muchakund also, you remember, where he says, Bhavapa Varga Bhavato Yada Brahmet, Bhavapa Vargo Bhavato Yada Brahmet. Like he says that when, when one's material life or when one's stay in the material world is about to get finished, that is the time when one meets the devotees. That is the time when one gets the association of devotees. Uh, so it actually has a opposite effect there. What the verse means is when one meets devotees, that is the time when his material existence is going to get finished. Uh, but the verse is spoken in the opposite manner there. So what does he mean there also in that verse is uh, somehow or other, yadrichaya, if one gets the association of devotees and one commits to that process of bhakti, his um, his material sojourn, the material journey is going to come to an end soon now, like that. So how did one come to that process of bhakti? Yes, he came by devotees' mercy. Maybe in this life or prior life or 100 lifetimes back or whatever it is, yadrichaya. it is by devotee's mercy he has come to that path. And because now he has come to that path, so end of his material life is very, very nearby. It is not very far. So like that Muchakunda praise, and it's a popular verse, it is quoted everywhere. Bhavapavargo yada bhramet, like that it says. I don't know by heart the words. Okay, Prabhu? All right then.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Narhari Thakur Prabhu, yes.
Question. Nanda Pranam. My query is almost answered in this question. Means I was thinking that you are very Vartate Namatujyam. So sometimes glories of the holy name are mentioned, just like one is said Haram, Rupa Goswami says, I think Bhakti Haram. So even there Ram comes, so he will be delivered. So such kind of glories of the Nam is not an exaggeration. We should not think like that, but means if by chance we are getting, we are chanting, or by chance in the sense, devotee's mercy, we are chanting Hare Krishna. So how does it include, we are chanted means, so, Pustapaste Juhushushnur Arya, how it means, if we are not practiced before and now we are directly chanting. So already you mentioned that it is goal point of view, but still that benefit of that, what how means a chanter will get if he has not read all the scriptures. So benefit how he will get unless he reads the scriptures.
No,
And
the point.
another
Hmm.
another Prabhu, Rupa Goswami quotes, right? Janmakoti sukrutir na labhyate atra lolyam api mulyam ekala Janmakoti sukrutir na labhyate. The devotional service is not achieved by Janmakoti Sukruti. So sometime we give that preferences of doing just like Ekustapaste Joshnor Arya. He has done already all these things. So why that is connected here? That also my question.
Yeah, that's why. So we have to precisely understand the ideas. This verse is not speaking causation. Causality बोली जा रही है क्या इसमें कार्य कारण भाव is not there in this verse. That one who has studied all the Vedas, one who has bathed in all the holy places, one who has done all the sacrifices, such a person starts to chant the holy name. That sort of karya karan bhav is not spoken here. Absolutely not. This verse is not speaking anything like that. That these things lead to the holy names. That's why if somebody chanting the holy name, so he must have done all these things beforehand. The verse is not speaking like that. What is the verse speaking here? That somebody who is chanting the holy names of the Lord, the level, the exalted level of such a person in his journey to go back home, back to Godhead, the level that is achieved by chanting the holy names is so exalted that all these things like bathing in the holy places and all that, that is already accomplished. That is at much lower level. Uh, so you see, the whole thing is talking about the aspect of a certain purity of heart. The studying of the Vedas, the bathing in holy places, all the sacrifices. So they give a certain level of antakaran shuddhi. This is the point. Those particular activities are not important. What it accomplishes is very important. And what does it accomplish? So usually all these goals, they accomplish the aspect of antakaran shuddhi, like that. So now, in that antakaran shuddhi, we see that the understanding of Supreme Lord and bhakti and all, it becomes very easy then. Then, like if somebody's heart is very pure, then such a person, we see that he becomes a very fertile ground for the understanding bhakti process and everything like that. And then in that situation, the holy name is being offered. So then one can readily accept that. Like how Shukdev Goswami just heard the two pure glorifications of Krishna and was instantly attracted and just so attracted heart Why? Because his heart was just completely free from all desire for sense enjoyment. Just no trace of any sense enjoyment. So in that case, we see that it becomes very ripe for receiving the holy name or Nam, Rup, Guna, Lila, Seva and all. So somebody who by Guru's mercy or by Vaishnava's mercy now is able to commit to such a process of chanting, uh, and where he has also the proper desire. It's not just whimsical chanting. We talked about that Tubhyam aspect, that one is practicing it with a Shastriya Shraddha, that I want to do it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Kruta Hoya. I don't need any other process. So to be able to come to that level of conviction, to be able to accept that karma, jnana, and all this process, I should not aspire for it. So that kind of chanter, whether he has performed the Vedic sacrifices or not, he has accomplished that level of consciousness. No, that is what the point is of this verse. Because he has already achieved that level of consciousness, that purification that was desired by all these processes. So that is why it is said that he has already done all these things in that particular sense. So how that purification has happened is by actually, it may be because he has done all those things, or it may be because he has not done any of these things, but directly he got association of Vaishnavas, he has got association of very great devotee, and by that huge transformation has occurred. So because you have accessed that level of consciousness, so it is saying that you have done all these things. These things in themselves will not lead there. In order to get the pure Shastriya Shraddha and desire for practice Uttama Bhakti, even if you read Vedas, even if you bathe in holy places, it will not generate that kind of Shraddha. It will come only by taking association of somebody who has that kind of Shraddha. And that's the whole point of Madhurya Kadambini, initial discussion, that you receive Nirguna Bhakti through someone who practices Nirguna Bhakti. You don't receive it in any other way. You may receive the purity aspect by other processes. वेद पढ़ लिए इसलिए अंतःकरण शुद्धि हो गई, इतने स्नान कर लिए इसलिए अंतःकरण शुद्धि हो गई. So then अंतःकरण शुद्धि means you come to a level where you don't want sense gratification. You understand it is futile, it is bogus. So you do how much ever of karma kand, this antakaran shuddhi will never happen. Antakaran shuddhi is not the goal achieved by karma kand at all. So Nishkam Karma Yoga starts giving the Antakaran Shuddhi, like that. And then in typical that kind of life, all these things are there, studying the Vedas, bathing in the holy places, doing certain sacrifices like Nitya Homa, Naimittik Homa, this, that, and all. So where do they lead? They lead actually to especially the aspect of purification, where one starts appreciating those ideals of Vairagya and going beyond the material world. But if by some Vaishnava's association, one is already aspiring for pure devotional service, it is so much an exalted platform. It is much beyond Antakaran Shuddhi also. Because even after Antakaran Shuddhi, you may still only desire to realize Atma. Let me, Atma Sakshatkar, that's it, Atmananda. But somebody who is chanting the holy names with that kind of Shraddha, he is much beyond that also, right? He is doing it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So you understand? You are, by all these processes, you are supposed to reach here, but somebody is here already. So you will say that, oh, he has already accomplished all that. But does it mean necessarily that he has gone through those processes? 100%. No, not like that. Not necessarily. Then the whole aspect of Vaishnava's mercy and the power of Vaishnava's Sangha and all that, that will become a result of some pious activities and all that. So that is not the true story. As at best, studying Vedas and such things, Vishwanath Chakravarti says in first canto, second chapter, that it can lead to some kind of saguna bhakti. It can never lead to nirguna. So that's why we see that these aspects, although they are spoken, but you understand that it is in terms of phalena parichiyate. Uh, the phala is showing that one has actually already crossed that level. Uh, this is the. I hope now the concept is clear.
Thank you. Very clear.
Yeah. Okay. KSTD and JMD,
Hare Krishna.
whoever who are they? Yes.
Jagdishwar Mohan Das here.
Who is that?
Jagdishwar Mohan Das.
Okay, Jagdishwar.
My 50% is clear. Narahari Thakur Pro's question, that concept was clear lastly you told. My point is that regarding that PhD honorary and one gradually going through step by step of PhD, for example, can we take this as one performing as a Kripa Siddha and Sadhana Siddha perspective? Like one is being favored by a pure devotee और दूसरा अपना साधना करके ही is going. So मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि what is the perspective future outcome? जैसे कि for example now one because of Kripa is practicing bhakti full-fledged. One because of all that sadhana bhakti he is now in that same track. तो दोनों का जो आगे का फ्यूचर का भक्ति होगा will it be on the same pace or the kripa person will be at a higher pace in bhakti or it purely depends on the free will वो
What is Kripa Siddhi? What is your understanding of Kripa Siddhi?
means we cannot like he was like you told that कि in the previously he would not मतलब ऐसे जरूरी नहीं है कि वो सारा प्रोसेस उसको फॉलो किया है in the sense कि
No, that is not Kripa Siddhi. That is not Kripa Siddhi. So when Vishwanath Chakravarti is describing that there is no reason of us receiving Nirguna Bhakti except the mercy of a Vaishnava. So do you call that he is explaining it Kripa Siddhi path? Will you say that when he says that Vishwanath Chakravarti, in the beginning of his Madhurya Kadambini, he is explaining that the reason why one receives bhakti, ahaituki, it is said bhakti is ahaituki. So there is no hetu. What does it mean? He says that basically there is no cause why we receive bhakti. It is only the mercy of a Vaishnava, Madhyamadhikari especially, because they are the ones who share Krishna consciousness. So when he is saying this, is he explaining the path of Kripa Siddha?
no
No. He's explaining the path of Sadhana Siddhi.
sadhana
So actually, whether somebody is Sadhana Siddha or somebody is Kripa Siddha, this principle holds true for everyone. That getting that Nirguna Bhakti, it is by some Vaishnava's mercy only. Understand what Kripa Siddhi means. Sometimes we feel like we are on the path of Kripa Siddhi. We are not. We are actually on the path of Sadhana Siddhi. Kripa Siddhi means, Prabhu, without performing any sadhana, you get love of Godhead. That's called Kripa Siddhi. We did not perform any sadhana. Some Vaishnava just blessed you that may you have love of Godhead. Finished. You become pure devotee. That is called Kripa Siddhi. So we are not followers of Kripa Siddhi path. I mean, we welcome it if it comes, but I'm saying we are not aspiring. Our path is the path of Sadhana Siddhi. On that path also you need some Kripa, but Kripa Siddhi is different. That's why that Siddhi word is there. Siddhi matlab direct prem. You will not see him doing any sadhana. Suddenly he's like Lord Chaitanya, he used to travel from places to places. वो एक को touch कर दिया, उसने किसको touch कर दिया, and that fellow touched another. Now what sadhana they have done? They directly are crying and rolling in the ground holy names because of prema. So it is called Kripa Siddhi. That is Kripa Siddhi actually. So it is a very rare sort of scenario. Huh. For us, yes, we are receiving this path of sadhana siddhi by mercy of a great Vaishnava. Even that thing is not possible without mercy. So that is how it is, especially Nirguna Bhakti's path. So you receive it without any cause, certainly, by our pious activities or by our study of the Vedas. We may become favorable to accept it, but we don't get it as the result of such things. Bhakti is never received as a result of these things. No, it is received only through Madhyamadhikari's intervention. But after Madhyamadhikari comes in your life, whether you will accept it or not accept it, that depends upon your, antakaran shuddhi aspect. If you actually value, because you are so pure, so you value that uh, pure bhakti to the Lord, then you will accept it. Somebody who does not value it, then he may or may not accept it. Depends how he will use the free will this way. So that's why it is important also that antakaran shuddhi aspect. It keeps that fertile ground. But still, a Vaishnava's association may be like so powerful कि वो पूरे बंजर भूमि में भी उसने खड़ा कर दिया हो भक्ति का. Like how Prabhupada was like that, right? Probably, complete infertile ground, but there also he invoked such devotion that they became just great followers of Prabhupada. It is possible. This. So, yes, Prabhu, as far as future is concerned, whether we have received it by prior practice of bhakti and nirguna bhakti, or whether we have not done any practice, it's just great mercy of Prabhupada or acharyas that we received in this life. In our material sojourn, material journey, first time we are coming across the followers of Nirguna Bhakti. If this is the scenario, imagine through ISKCON that has happened. But now how we will take it and how we will accept it, how we will use our free will, based on that we will be able to proceed. If somebody is already quite pure because of his prior background, it is easy for him. But for someone else who is not that pure because of prior background, but still has got the pure devotional service, so then such a person needs to, yes, work harder, take association more seriously, be very alert on mind and senses, and engage very much with doing great hard work for sadhana aspect and all. So, yes, that's how. Whatever is our prior samskaras and all, they will surely have a role to play. But in either case, we can imagine if we are getting pure bhakti, if we have got that pure bhakti path, so it depends on us how we want to make the advancement. So we can utilize the power of association, the power of mahat, शुश्रूषो श्रद्धानस्य वासुदेव कथा रुचि स्यात् महत् स्यान् महत् सेवया विप्रा पुण्य तीर्थ निषेवना. So all these aspects are there, no, to help a person, even if he is not coming from a very pure background, doesn't have very great antakaran shuddhi or anything like that. And most of the Kali Yuga jivas are like that only. We don't have very great pure antakaran. But if we utilize these aspects, then we can make tremendous advancement. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Vilaswadan Prabhu, and then we proceed. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Prabhuji, like this shloka is like all the discussion which we had yesterday means I feel it is clearly answering it. It means because it is telling that he has already done it. Somebody is chanting and the standard is reduced. In that standard was that he has chanted the name, and that the quality of the name has been reduced so much here that just Agre and all those things you described so wonderfully. So, and also the qualification is already given here. So, just wanted to understand then why that kind of uh, description was there before. Yeah.
Yeah. See why it comes, no, Prabhu? Because what happens is these processes, no, they give a certain kind of sattva. And that sattva may be missing in somebody who is chanting the holy name. So that's why that question may arise. Uh, if one has already studied all the Vedas, but does not have any interest in Shastra, or we find that such a person is extremely poor in understanding of Shastra. So then one may question, क्या रे सही में किया है क्या कि कॉपी करके पास आया है हुआ है like that. Huh? Or Juhu Sasnurarya. And if we see that such a person is struggling with mind and senses, has a certain samskaras which are sort of very abominable. So then one may wonder, no, has he actually done it in his prior life? Huh? So we can see that. That's how. Hmm. That those things, those sort of effects, that sattva, that antakaran shuddhi may not be seen in somebody who is chanting the holy names, or it may be seen also, either of the thing. Especially when it is not seen, then one may feel like, how is this? Is it really possible that one has studied all the Vedas? One has studied, so then why not sattva? Why sattva is missing in his life, in that particular sense? So sattva may be missing because the person actually comes from rajas and tamas. So he has not yet achieved that level of antakaran shuddhi. But before that, the holy name and the nirguna bhakti manifested. Uh, Nirguna bhakti, it is not dependent on manifesting on those factors. No, yat syat sarvatra sarvada, anvay vyatireka. So before he became Brahmana, somehow he is turned into a Vaishnava like that. So because people don't see then that kind of effect, so then they may get this question that has he really studied all the Vedas? Has he done sacrifices? Has he bathed in holy places? Then why is he like this? That way. So you understand, it is actually it's that aspect of very what kind of guna one is in. Uh, So even if one is not achieved that kind of sattva, but the process of chanting the holy names and association is like so powerful that we will say that soon the person, uh, sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura, soon the person will accomplish all those things very, very quickly this way. But because one has already accepted the holy name and the Nirguna Bhakti's procedure and all, Shastra is saying that, he has already gone beyond that stage. One in the final journey towards the Supreme Lord, he is placed at a much higher position than somebody who is only doing those Vedic study and such things. You got it?
Yes, Bhaji. Understood. So, like to clarify it in different ways, they have explained, Acharya has explained in the previous verse, so that it is, of course, bhakti takes you to a level where you externally it may not appear the Brahmana how it should be, but because when is surrendered to the Lord internally,
Yeah,
that purification will gradually take place, and he is on the
exactly.
higher platform or higher highway basically, where he's going
Yeah,
to very faster, and these things will
correct.
automatically have time to come.
Yeah, yes. It's something like, I mean, on a runway, if somebody is reached the point at a point where one is just about to take off. So someone may be 100 meters on that runway, someone may be 200 meters, 300 meters. So the point is, yes, as someone who is taken the process of chanting the holy names, and he has accepted the Nirguna Bhakti's procedure. So person is just about to take off, uh, like that. So that's why he is ahead only of all the others, like that. He may not be a great runner. He did not run uh, on that uh, what we call it, runway, on the runway. But the point is, yeah, he now happens to be there sitting in the plane, so he's going to take off that way. हाँ, फिर प्लेन में उसको all those desired effects of he being healthy, all that they may be accomplished there. But he has, because he has already accepted the process, so all that contamination will very quickly go that way. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Very bold. Okay. So then, so these two verses are very important for Gaudiyas. So please memorize them and these verses, because they form a great basis of why Bhaktisiddhanta or Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada they brought in certain kind of practices in bhakti process. How is it justified? So these are some of those verses also which talk. All the previous acharyas also they accept these principles, but there was a greater social order those days, and it would have meant a great disruption or something. So then they did not. But in today's day and time, where people hardly care about these things, who is a Brahmana, who is a Shudra, hardly like there is any this thing. So we see that if acharyas are doing some uh, adjustments which are profoundly based on these verses, then we should not have any issues with that. There is no hue and cry that is to be made, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gave Brahma Gayatri to those who were not born in Brahmin families. So now that is a bold step. Uh, Brahmin or even Kshatriya. Kshatriyas or Brahmanas receive usually on these. And then Prabhupada went ahead and he gave this Gayatri to even women like that. So we see that these adjustments and all, which are based on a certain Shastric principles and all, so they should be accepted, because first and foremost, they should be accepted because acharyas like Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta have done it. And secondly, they also have Shastric basis. No? So that's how it should be clear. But we see caste Goswamis or people like that, they have big trouble with it. Or even within ISKCON, people who have sometimes just critically orthodox ideas, they also have trouble. And sometimes they have trouble even with what Prabhupada did. At least as ISKCON's follower, we have full faith in what Prabhupada did. No? He understands as an acharya. So that's the point. Okay, text 9. So now rest of the chapter is discussing how Mother Devahuti achieved perfection and how Lord Kapila he also left mother and went to north. Maitreya Uvacha. Okay, it's 12:30. Okay, let's take 10 minutes Gayatri break and then we will start. It is 12:30, so we'll meet at 12:40. Just a minute. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we continue. Maitreya Uvacha Idito Bhagavan Evam Kapilakhyah Parah Puman Vacha Viklavetyaha Vacha Viklava Etyaha Mataram Matruvatsalah. Yes, Prabhu, please continue reading. Who was reading? Shaligram Prabhu was reading, I think. So someone else wants to read?
Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila, satisfied by the words of his mother, towards whom he was very affectionate, replied with gravity.
So in this way, Maitreya continued. So Lord was pleased, Lord Kapila was pleased, praised by his mother in this manner. And so, Vacha Aviklavaya, with the words which are grave, Aviklavaya. Kaisi Vacha? Aviklava Vacha. So he spoke to his mother, although he was extremely affectionate to mother. Matruvatsalah. Lord is Matruvatsala. Lord Gauranga is also very Matruvatsala. He is very affectionate to his mother. So Vishwan Chakravarti translates this Vacha Viklavaya as Vacha Aviklavaya. Because that way also you can split the Sandhi over there. And he says that by saying Vacha Aviklavaya, meaning literally by the speech which was not grave. So you can see he says it was Sa Gadgadaya. And he became actually, he spoke with great emotions. So it's possible, right? Because he's Matravatsala. So although his words are very grave, but they are extremely endearing also, isn't it? Lord's Vani is very gambhir, but at the same time it is very manodnya. It is very, very extremely endearing. He can speak in a very emotional manner also. So he spoke with great love. That's the point. Great love for his mother. Kapila Uvacha Margenanena mataste susevyenoditayena me astitena param kashtam achiradavarosya.
The
Yes.
Personality of Godhead said, My dear mother, the path of self-realization which I have already instructed to you is very easy. You can execute this system without difficulty, and by following it, you shall very soon be liberated, even within your present body.
Yeah. So Kapila said that, my dear mother, anena margena, by this path, susevyena, which is very, very easy, meaning by this path of bhakti yoga as instructed by me, situating yourself into this param kashtham achiradavarosyasi, you will achieve the parakashtha. What is the parakashtha? Summit or the zenith of this path. Achira, very soon you will be situated on this path, the zenith of this path. So what is the summit of this path? It is bhava or prema. So you will soon achieve that. In this way, you will be a jivan mukta and you will situate yourself as a liberated person while still living in this body. So you can see Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Susevyena here means bhakti yogena. Susukham kartum avyayam bhakti path is known as Sulabha or Susevya. Parakashtha is, we see that he is saying that you will achieve the prema siddhi. Prema siddhi. Actually, she already has prema. So what does it mean that she will achieve prema? Nitya siddha matra bhavepi. Although she is already situated in that nitya siddha matra bhav, so she already has love of Godhead. But still, tathokti loka shikshartham eva jneya. Speaking like this, he is just speaking it as a conventional, as a teaching to the world. Meaning anybody who takes up this path, which is accepted by, which is spoken by Kapila, and one situates himself in this path, then such a person will achieve the prema siddhi. He will achieve the highest perfection in terms of love of Godhead. You understand? So that's the point of this verse. So you can see, devotional service is so perfect that by simply following the rules and regulations and executing them under the direction of spiritual master, one is liberated. So that liberation is nothing but the Jivan Mukti. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Sam Sindhu has also confirmed this. Iha yasya harer dasya. Regardless of where he is situated, anyone whose only aim is to serve the Supreme Lord under direction of spiritual master is called Jivana Mukta. Jivan Mukta. Iha yasya harer dasya. Karmana manasa gira. Nikhilasu api avasthasu. Jivan Mukta sa uchyate. One's desire, iha, is completely towards harer dasya. In all situations of life, by all the means, karmana, manasa, vacha, by body, mind, words, iha, the desire is to only serve the lotus feet of Sri Hari. In all situations, then such a person is called Jivan Mukta. Like that. So we see that this path will give that Jivan Mukti Dasha, perfection. That aspect is being spoken over here. For Vaishnava, Jivan Mukti means Prema Bhakti. For Jnanis or Yogis, it can mean that final Atma Sakshatkar, Atma Bodha that they have. But for Vaishnavas, it means love of Godhead. Jivan Mukta means that even though one is in the material body, because one is situated in the service of the Lord, he should be understood as liberated. Shraddhatsvai tanmatam mahyam jushtam yad brahmavadibih yena mama bhayam yaya mrityur mruchantya tadvidah.
Chaliye My dear mother, those who are actually transcendentalists certainly follow my instructions as I have given them to you. You may rest assured that if you traverse this path of self realization perfectly, surely you shall be freed from fearful material contamination and shall ultimately reach me. Mother, persons who are not conversant with this method of devotion service certainly cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death.
Yes. So that's why Shraddhatsva, please have faith and have rest, be rest assured in this Siddhanta that I have taught you. It is Jushtam Yad Brahmavadi Bhi. It is something which is approved by all transcendentalists and it is followed by all transcendentalists. By this process, you will attain me, Yaya. meaning you will, Yatsyasi, you will come to me. But those who don't know this Siddhanta and they don't know this philosophy, the ignorant ones, they will attain the death. They will be captured by the death. But you will achieve me, you will achieve the immortality. So you can see he very clearly says that you will achieve me. Mam dhyaya. Maitreya uvacha. Iti pradarsha bhagavan satim tamatmano gatim swamatra brahma vadinya kapilonu mato yayo.
Sri Maitreya said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila, after instructing his beloved mother, took permission from her and left his home, his mission having been fulfilled.
Yeah. So in this way, by showing or by instructing Atmanah Gatim, the path of self-realization, the path of attaining the Supreme Lord, to his very chaste mother, Sati, very saintly Devahuti. Taking permission from her, Anumata, taking permission of his mother, who was a Brahmavadini now. She was actually situated completely on the transcendental platform, equipped with all the perfection of all transcendental knowledge, Brahmavadini. Then Kapila, he left the home and went away. So, Vishwan Chakravarti says, Anumatau Hetu. What was the reason that she gave him permission to leave? Right? He sought permission from her and she gave also, because she was a Brahmavadini. She thought that, how can I hold him back? He is the Supreme Lord. He is Parabrahma, Bhagavan. So how can I stop him at home? How will I able to? I will not be able to. So she gave her permission that she can leave now. So first Kardam Muni went and Kapila Muni stayed for Mother Devahuti. But after Kapila Muni instructed her and she was situated at a transcendental platform. So then now Kapila Muni, having accomplished his purpose, he is also leaving her. The mission of the appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Kapila was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy. So when he imparted that to his mother, then he had no more need to stay at home. So that's why he left. Apparently, he left home for spiritual realization, although he had nothing to realize spiritually. Because he himself is the person to be spiritually realized. Very nice line Prabhupada is writing. Kapila had nothing to spiritually realize, right? Because he is the person to be realized. So why did he do so? He did so because he wanted to teach the other people. Lok Shiksha. He could, of course, have stayed with his mother, but he intended that there was no need to stay with the family. Prabhupada writes so nicely. He says, it is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari. Meaning not brahmachari who is staying alone. That is, alone as a brahmachari means not staying with the wife. That's the point. One is alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or even vanaprastha. Initially, wife stays with him. Then after that, wife goes back to the son, and the man continues alone. So, yes, best is to remain alone. Sthane sthita shruti gatang tanuvang manopi, and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's own life. Those who are unable to remain alone, yeah, but those who cannot do it, okay, they are given license to live in household life with wife and children. And that too not for sense gratification, but for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So Kapila Muni is an example for, he's an inspiration for all those who want to live a life of renunciation. Sacha pitana yoktena yoga deshena yoga yuk tasminnashrama pide saraswatya samahita.
As instructed by her son, Devahuti also began to practice Bhakti Yoga in that very ashrama. She practiced Samadhi in the house of Kardam Muni, which was so beautifully decorated with flowers, and it was considered the flower crown of the river Saraswati.
Yeah. So in that beautiful place, instructed by Kapila Muni, Mother Devahuti completely absorbed in following those instructions. So that place became even more beautified. It was already very beautiful, but now by Mother Devahuti's practice of Bhakti Yoga, uh, being because of her absorption in the Supreme Lord, that place became even more very beautiful. Devahuti did not leave her house because it is never recommended for a woman to leave her home. She could have also left home, but she did not. Rather, she remained at home and began to practice Bhakti Yoga as instructed by her great son Kapila Muni. So we see that, yes, Prabhupada says this aspect that a woman should always be under protection. Initially under protection of her father, then under protection of her husband, and then eventually under protection of her son. So her condition is mentioned. Abhikshnaavagah kapishan jatilan kutilalakan atmanam chogra tapasa bibhrati chirinam vukrusham. Yes.
She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling back hair gradually became grey. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments.
Yeah, so Devahuti was such a beautiful person. So slowly, because of the austerities, we see that her pitch black hair, they started becoming uh, like the jatas, like matted hair, uh, started losing their color also and started becoming matted hair. And she was doing a great tapa. Tapa in the sense that was a devotional tapa. She was constantly absorbed in uh, remembering the Supreme Lord and yes, chanting his names and remembering him, remembering his activities, meditating on his rupa, guna, and all that. She wore very simple garments. She was no longer staying like a great princess. So in this way, we see that she started following the renunciation. It is practice of yogi, brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi to bathe at least 3 times daily. Early in the morning, during noontime, and in the evening, right? Sometimes it is so difficult to follow, right? 3 times bath. Uh, when we are doing some Brahman seva, in the sense deity seva, so then also it's possible. But otherwise, if we are not doing deity seva, so daily bathing 3 times, 2 times is okay, 3 times sometimes. Many are not able to do 3 times bath, right? These principles are strictly followed even by some grahasthas, especially Brahmanas, who are elevated in spiritual consciousness. So we see that Devahuti, she also followed all these rules and regulations of bhakti very strictly, and she was constantly absorbed in remembering the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes here, to be too fat is not very good for spiritually advanced life. Prabhupada writes this even in the 4th canto, he writes in the Puranjanopakhyan that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not like fat brahmacharis. So that is That is an inspiration for weight loss. Those who need it like that. So I also felt inspired by reading this and that section also in the fourth canto. Rather, one should reduce, because if one becomes fat, it is an impediment to progress in spiritual understanding. Very proper, right? If one eats too much, then naturally one feels like sleeping all the time. And that sleep in turn makes the person more obese, more fatter. Uh, One should be careful not to eat too much, sleep too much, or remain in a comfortable position. Voluntarily accepting some penances and difficulties, one should take less food and less sleep. Usually, conditioned soul means he makes sure that he gets first class food. If possible, store it also for the future. And he has very good arrangement for sleeping. Uh, That's our natural tendency. But slowly, at least one can try to reduce. Otherwise, one will be eventually forced to reduce by the different health issues, especially sleep also. Sleep is also very important. Either we end up sleeping too less or too much. But a regulated sleep is actually very important for even digestion and even all other factors in life. Yuktahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. If you want to make your yoga, meaning bhakti yoga, dukkha, meaning if you want to make your bhakti yoga uh, destroying the misery, removing the misery, then better be regulated. Otherwise, yogo bhavati dukkha daha instead of dukkha. Bhakti yoga can also give a lot of misery then. If we are not regulated, we may end up eating too much or sleeping too much or sleeping too less. And then age of 8, then at the age of 20 and 22, people cannot digest chapati also. Then they have to eat health khichdi or what all. In young age of 20, 22. Why? Because you can't digest chapati, you can't digest bhakri, you can't digest rice. What has happened? You know, yogo bhavati dukkha instead of dukkha. So that's how. Prajapate kardamasya tapo yoga vichrimbitam swagarhastyam anopamyam prarthyam vaimanikairapi.
Somebody else can read it also.
Okay, Krishna Ketan Prabhu, please read. Now you continue reading till the time I tell you to stop.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, brother. Audible?
Yes, Prabhu. Little bit louder.
The home and household paraphernalia of Kardama was one of the Prajapatis, was developed in such a way by dint of his mystic powers of austerity and yoga that his opulence was sometimes envied by those who travel in outer space in airplanes.
Yeah. So, 5, 6 verses describe Devahuti, describe the household life of Kardama in order to tell that she left all these opulence. And that's the purpose. We are being reminded of that opulence of the residing place of Mother Devahuti, because Kardama had created that place. So we see that it was so opulent. And describing this for 5 verses, then we see Maitreya says that, and she left such an opulence. She left, meaning she became completely indifferent to that. So for that purpose, it is being described that it was anaupamyam. It was incomparable. and it was desired for by even the Vaimanikaihi, by those who were the heavenly residents of heavenly planets or outer space, uh, those who possessed various vimanas, denizens of heaven, they also desired. Such was his opulence. So Prabhupada speaks about the airplanes and all. The airplane that was, the city only was airplane, right? Kardam Muni is that place that he created. So we see that the whole uh, place only was created in such a way that it could even travel to different places. Payafena nibha shaya danta rukma parichada asanani cha haimani susparshastaranani cha.
The opulence of the household of Kardama Muni is described herein. The bed sheets and mattresses were as white as the foam of milk. The chairs and the benches were made of ivory and were covered by cloths of lace with golden filigree. And the couches were made of gold and had very soft pillows.
So guest house management and all, you can get some information how to maintain a guest house. Something can be taken from there. Swachhaspathika kuddeshu mahamarakateshu cha ratna pratipa abhanti lalana ratna samyuta.
The walls of the house were made of first class marble, decorated with valuable jewels. There was no need of light, for the household was illuminated by the rays of these jewels. The female members of the household were all amply decorated with jewelry.
Yes. Prabhupada says it is understood from the statement that opulences of household life were exhibited in valuable jewels, ivory, first class marble, and furniture made of gold and jewels. It was not like the furniture of present day, which is cast in valueless plastic furniture, right? Or base metal sometimes. The way of Vedic civilization is that wherever or whatever was used in household affairs had to be valuable. So the material should be very valuable, right? In case of need, such items of value could be exchanged immediately. If it is some plastic or like that, what you can exchange it for? If you give plastic something, then he will give 10 times more plastic to you, right? So at least if it has some value, then we see it used to be it used to come handy, come in use if needed like that. Once broken and unwanted furniture and paraphernalia would never be without value. Right, even before few years, we see that the metal utensils, golden ornaments, they would have some value, right? They were not plastic plates and such things. Right, plates would be of petal, or if those who are rich, they would have silver plates or like that, golden plates. But at least people would use kansya. Like I remember also this place of grandfather and all. There was a lot of kasa, kansya. Bell metal was there, or petal was there. And they used to be. I mean, they are very popular metals also. Uh, Kansya especially. It is considered also very good for taking food in it. So point is that it should be valuable. Otherwise, collecting so much of plastic stuff, it becomes useless in the end. And sometimes the house is filled with all unnecessary stuff, filled of plastic. गृहोद्यानं कुसुमितै रम्यं बह्वरम् अमरद्रुमै कूजत विहंगमिथुनम गायन मत्तम मधुवतम.
The compound of the main household was surrounded by beautiful gardens with sweet, fragrant flowers, and many trees which produced fresh fruit and were tall and beautiful. The attraction of such gardens was that singing birds would sit on the tree, and their chanting voices, as well as the humming sound of the bees, made the whole atmosphere as pleasing as possible.
Right? So these things are discussed in prior chapters. Yatra pravishtam atmanam vibhudhano charajabo vapyam utpalla gandhinyam kardamena upalalitam.
When Devoti would enter that lovely garden to take her bath in the pond filled with lotus flowers, the associates of the denizens of heaven, the Gandharvas, would sing about Kardama's glorious household life. Her great husband Kardama gave her all protection at all times.
The ideal husband and wife relationship is very nicely described in this statement. Kadamuni gave Devoti all sorts of comforts in his duty as a husband, but he was not at all attached to his wife. And we see that as soon as Kapila Dev became of some age, Kardama immediately left. And similarly, Devavati was also great princess and very qualified and very beautiful, but she was completely dependent on protection of her husband. She was not so-called independent, feminist kind of woman. According to Manu, women should not have independence at any stage of life. Hitva tadipsitatamam apyakhandala yoshitam kinchit chakara vadanam putra vishleshanatura.
Roja, continue 5 verses.
Yeah, you can continue.
Although her position was unique from all point of view, saintly Devavati, in spite of all her possessions, were envied even by the ladies of the heavenly planets, gave up all such comforts. She was only sorry that her great son was separated from her.
Yeah, so that was the point of describing all these uh, opulences of his Kadama's household life. Uh, Hitva. So all that she gave up. Ipsitatama, it was most desirable household paraphernalia. Akhandala Yoshitam, even the wives of the demigods or wives of these people from other planetary systems, even they desired, but she gave it up. And kinchit chakara vadanam putra vishleshanatika. And so much she was feeling separation from her son because Kapila left, that she became very, very distressed and sorry. And she felt like her son was not there. So she felt like everything was useless without her son. Uh, why was Devavati so attached to her son? That because her son was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is explained in the next verse. Vanam pravrajate, vanam pravrajate patya vapatya virahatura jnata tatvapya bhunnashte vatse gauri vatsala.
Devavati's husband has already left home and accepted the renounced order of life. And then her only son Kapila left home. Although she knew all the truths of life and death, and although her heart was cleansed of all dirt, she was very aggrieved at the loss of her son, just as a cow is affected when her calf dies.
Hmm. So Kardama had already gone to forest, uh, but at that time Kapila was there. So that's why looking at Kapila and being attached to him, she became situated peacefully. Uh, but now Kapila also left her. So because of that, apatya virahatura, jnata tattva, although she was realized completely in all Atma tattva, uh, but because of her pure attachment to Kapila as her son, she became very, very distressed, just as a mother cow becomes very distressed when she loses her calf. So this is actually her prema that is being shown, her vatsalya that is shown for Kapila Muni. So Vishwanath Chakravarti talks about this aspect, that how she was having that vatsalya. Just a minute. Okay. I think it's not there here. Yeah. Bhagavati vatsalyakhyayaha pritehe sarvopamarditvam. She had so much vatsalya for the Supreme Lord that we see that overwhelmed everything like that. So she became very much distressed by separation from her son. She was just crying out that please bring back my son. I cannot live without him. So Vilapanti go eva. It is mentioned like go, like a cow. So just like a cow is not expected to know any philosophy. So similarly, although she knew all philosophy very clearly, she was actually situated on a great transcendental platform. But that knowledge suddenly, because of her putra bhav, sahasa eva vismritavati. Suddenly she forgot all that knowledge in the sense that her love was so overwhelming that she started frantically crying out and looking for her son who had left her. Prabhupada says, strictly speaking, a woman is never widowed if she has a grown son. She's not considered a widowed lady because there is protection of her son. Devahuti was not very much affected while Kapila Muni was there. But upon his departure, she was very afflicted. She grieved not because of her worldly relationship with Kardama, but because of her sincere love for the personality of Godhead. But then after some time, Kapila also had left her. So that's why she is compared to a cow who had lost her calf. This intense affection for Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritually beneficial. She had Vatsalya for the Supreme Lord, so what can be greater than that? Every woman can qualify herself as much as Devahuti, and she can also have the Supreme Godhead as her son. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead can appear as the son of Devahuti, he can also appear as the son of any other woman, provided that woman is qualified. So yes, Devahuti in that way she's an inspiration that one can try to develop such kind of vatsalya towards the Supreme Lord. Tameva dhyayati devam apatyam kapilam harim bahuva chirato vatsa nispraha tadrishe grahe.
Oh, Vidura, thus always meditating upon her son, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapiladev, she very soon became unattached to her nicely decorated home.
Yeah. So in this way, she constantly thought about Kapila, and by that very quickly, she became completely detached from her house. Unless we are able to transfer our attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no possibility of becoming freed from material attachment. So we have to work on the positive attachment, positive goals in bhakti, keeping ourselves engaged, having some objective goals in our bhakti, uh, and striving hard for that. Then we will not get much influence by the material stimuli. Otherwise, we are not engaged properly in bhakti. We are not trying to develop positive engagement and positive results for Krishna, then we see that the material attachments, they become even stronger, and they start overpowering us. So that's why it is best that one transfers the attachment to Guru and to mission of Guru, to services for Krishna's and Vaishnava's service. Prabhupada says that it is not possible to become liberated by cultivation of empirical philosophical speculation. Even if impersonalist reaches highest platform of spiritual realization, he falls down again to material attachment because he is not situated in transcendental loving service. So sometimes we see that some impersonalists may reach very high platform within the material world. They may reach even Jivan Mukti stage, but if they don't have bhakti, then they fall down from there. If they're offensive towards Krishna, then they will fall. The devotees adopt the devotional process, hearing about Supreme Lord's pastimes and glorifying his activities, and thereby always remembering his beautiful eternal form. ध्यायति भगवद्रूपं यदाह ध्यानगोचरं सुतः प्रसन्नवदनं समस्तव्यस्तचिन्तया.
Thereafter, having heard with great eagerness and in all detail from her son, Kapila Deva, the eternally smiling personality of Godhead, devotee began to meditate constantly upon the Vishnu form of the Supreme Lord.
भक्ति प्रवाह योगेन वैराग्येन बलीयसा युक्तानुष्ठान जातेन ज्ञानेन ब्रह्म हेतुना विशुद्धेन तदात्मानम् आत्मना विश्वतो मुखम् स्वानुभूत्या तिरोभूत माया गुण विशेषणम्.
She did show with serious engagement. He did show with serious engagement in devotional service. Because she was strong in renunciation, she accepted only the necessities of the body. She became situated in knowledge due to realization of the absolute truth. Her heart became purified. She became fully absorbed in meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all misgivings due to the modes of material nature disappeared.
Yeah. So we see that she practiced the bhakti process with great intensity. Bhakti pravaha yogena. This bhakti yoga was like a pravaha. It was like the constant flow towards Krishna. Tvayi me nanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratim udvahta daddha gange vogham udanvati. Just as Ganges flows towards the Supreme Lord. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye. So we see that this bhakti, which is constantly flowing towards Krishna's lotus feet. Vairagyena baliyasa. And because of that, naturally, jnana and vairagya also got generated. Janayatyashu vairagyam jnanam cha yadahetukam. Great detachment. She became greatly detached from the material world. Yuktanusthana jatena. She practiced the limbs of bhakti, and she practiced the rules and regulations with great regulation. Yuktahar viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Jnanena brahma hetuna. Her practice of bhakti also produced the jnana, right? But that jnana is not the jnana which is impersonal jnana. It is the jnana of Tvam padat jnana, tat padat jnana. The knowledge of Supreme Lord, the knowledge of Jiva's position, knowledge of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, Seva. Brahma Hetuna. In fact, such a knowledge, it is said to be the cause of Brahman also. Brahma Hetuna Jnanena, meaning by Bhagavad Jnana. Because Bhagavan is considered to be cause of even Brahman, isn't it? So, Brahma hetuna jnanena means by the knowledge which is actually root or the cause of even the Brahman. So, what is that? That Supreme Lord. That is the Bhagavad Jnana. Vishuddhena tadatmanam atmana vishvato mukham. So, by her practice of bhakti, she was able to see within her heart the Supreme Lord, Vishvato mukham. In fact, she started feeling that spurti, that appearance of the Lord started coming for her everywhere. Vishvato mukham in all directions. Svanubhutya tirobhuta maya guna vishesha. By her own svanubhuti, by her own realization, she was able to see that Supreme Lord who is beyond all the qualities or all the attributes of Maya. So in this way, she became situated completely at the level of perfection. So next verse also speaks this. Brahmanyavasthitamatir bhagavatyatma samshraye nivritta jivatpatitvat kshina kleshapta nirvritihi.
Her mind became completely engaged in the Supreme Lord, and she automatically realized the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman. As a Brahman realized soul, she was freed from the designations of the materialistic concept of life. Thus, all material pangs disappeared, and she attained transcendental bliss.
Yeah. So we see that she became completely situated, avasthitamati. Her mind became completely situated in that Lord who is said to be Brahman also, Bhagavan also, and Atma Samshraya also, which means Paramatma. So she became situated in that Lord who is also Brahman and who is also Paramatma. Whom did she become situated? That is very clear from the prior context also, that she constantly meditated on Lord Kapila only. So naturally, she is becoming situated in that Bhagwan feature. But that feature is also Brahman and Paramatma. So that's why that is what is spoken here, that within her realization, the realization of path of Brahman or realization of path of worshipping Paramatma was already included like that. Nivrutta jiva pattitvat. And she became freed from the jivapatti, calamity for the jiva. Apatti, calamity. So she became freed from the calamity for the jiva. What is that? Avidya. Avidya, ignorance is the calamity for the jiva. And she became freed from that. Kshina kleshapta nirvriti. So we see that being freed from all the trivid kleshas and being apta nirvriti, she became situated in the transcendental level of prema bhakti. This is how. So basically, what she did is she used all the knowledge of jnana or yoga that she had, and she practiced bhakti with that, which means she knew limbs of yoga also very well, limbs of jnana also very well. So she just used those limbs in bhakti also. Like in yoga, there is this limb called samadhi, right? Dharna becoming dhyana, and then in the end becoming samadhi. So especially dharna onwards, where one is meditating on the Supreme Lord. So she used such limbs in bhakti by using them in the process of smaranam, shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam. So she utilized her knowledge of yoga. She utilized the knowledge of jnana also. Like jnana has this knowledge of Supreme Lord, tat padartha jnana, or it has this knowledge of jiva, tvam padartha jnana. So she used all this knowledge to further reinforce her practice of bhakti and be firmly situated in that. So this is why it is mentioned, all these words are mentioned. Prabhupada says Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Unless one is freed from material entanglement and situated in Brahman, there is no question of entering into understanding of devotional service. So one who is engaged in devotional service, he has already realized Brahman or Paramatma features. That's the point. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Just like here also it is mentioned. So that is the thing. Another significant point of this verse is Yuktahara Viharasya. It is actually this verse. Here it is the Yuktanusthana Jatena. That's what Prabhupada is referring. Yes. When one engages in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, he still has to eat, sleep, defend, and mate. But then one should do it them in a regulated way. One has to eat Krishna Prasad, sleep according to regulative principles. So it's very important that Yuktahar principle is followed by those who perform bhakti. So in this way, one will soon become purified. Sometimes in a dream, we get a particular... Actually, this refers to the next verse. Prabhupada is writing beforehand that. Yes, swapne drashtam ivotthitaha. This is where it will come. Yes, he's writing beforehand. That she considered whole material world like a dream only. Like a dream, meaning not exactly as a dream, but like a dream. She did not take it very seriously. This way. So she utilized the aspect of jnana, yoga, and practiced bhakti by that. In the Ashtanga Yoga system, the seventh stage of perfection is dhyana. And this dhyana is the third stage of devotional service. Right? So similarly, the first, similarly, even the aspect of jnana, whichever are relevant, are accepted here. So therefore, by executing devotional service, one automatically becomes an expert jnani or expert yogi. Nityaruಢ samadhitvat paravritta guna brahma na sasmara tadapmanam swapne drishtam vibodhitah.
Situated in eternal trance and freed from illusion impelled by the modes of material nature, we forget her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in a dream.
Yeah. So she was always situated in that state of samadhi, which means premananda, which means the happiness of prema. So for a Vaishnava, samadhi means if the Vaishnava is enjoying Krishna's delightful form or pastimes on the level of prema, that is considered samadhi. So samadhi of yoga corresponds to, bhava or prema over here. Of course, bhava or prema is very exalted than samadhi, but we are just saying corresponding stages like that. So at that level, she saw that whole material world was just like a dream. That's why Prabhupada speaks in the prior verse about dream. A great Vaishnava said that he who has no remembrance of his body is not bound to material existence. Right? In the material world, who forgets about the body? Only when one transcends all such bodily consideration, then we can consider that such a person is liberated. According to opinion of devotees, constant remembrance of Supreme Lord is called samadhi. If one is in trance, there is no possibility of his being but So someone may be, in devotional service, the samadhi may be Jangam Samadhi or Sthavar Samadhi, walking Samadhi or sitting Samadhi. But point is, one is at that level of Prema Bhakti. So how she was taken care in such a condition where she was such transcendently situated, how she was taken care by her female servants is spoken. So this is the last part now. Who wants to read? Anyone volunteer? 28 to 37 verses. Anybody who has not read or like that?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read.
Okay. तद्देह परतः पोषोऽप्यकृशश्चाद्य सम्भवात् बभौ मलैरवच्छन्नः सधुमा इव पावकः.
Her body was being taken care of by spiritual damsels created by her husband, Vardhama. And since she has no material anxiety at that time, her body did not become thin. She appeared just like a fire surrounded by the smoke.
Yeah. So you can see the love of Godhead was maintaining her body. Taddeha. So we see that otherwise she was not interested in any eating or any sleeping or like that. But in spite of that, she remained healthy because Lord was taking care of her. Taddeha parataha posho. The body was being maintained by her female servants. So although, yes, it was covered with some dust and like that, but still the form shone brilliantly because she was full with love of Godhead. Just like some fire is there, it may have some smoke on it, but still fire is fire, right? It shines. So similarly, she also was taken care by all these Vidyadhari, spiritual damsels, but uh, she appeared like a fire. Because she was always in trance, in transcendental bliss, the thought of Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was fixed in that. So that's why she did not become thin. This is spoken about also Brajavasis, right? The Brajavasis, they were away and constantly in separation from the Lord, but still they never became thin or they did not become extremely weak and like that. No. And that it was because that thought Lord nourished them through that thought that they were having. It is said, according to Ayurvedic medical science, that if one is free from anxieties, he generally becomes fat. एक तो है spiritual ecstasy वाला, that he is or she is here in spite of not eating much or sleeping much, she is still being very healthy, and that is because of her absorption in the Supreme Lord. But there is another freedom from anxiety, free from anxiety, carefree. So he doesn't have any responsibility only. So he ahar nidra generally becomes such a person very fat. It is customary in the renounced order of life that one should not take any service from a servant or a maid, but Devahuti was being served by the celestial maid servant. This may appear to be against the spiritual concept of life, but just as fire is still beautiful even when surrounded by smoke, she looked completely pure. So yes, she was also in a sort of vanaprastha. So it was not expected that she takes a lot of service from maid servants or like. But basically, she being in her transcendental consciousness, so these women, they certainly took care of her. Swangam tapo yogamayam muktakesham gatambaram daiva guptam na bubudhe vasudeva pravishtadihi. Yes, please read.
Because she was always absorbed in the thought of Supreme Personality Godhead, she was not aware that her hair was sometimes loosened or her garments were disarrayed.
Yeah. So in fact, her transcendental body was being taken care by Lord only. Daiva Guptam. So sometimes her hair would be disheveled or her garments would be disheveled, but she was just absorbed in the Supreme Lord. These servants took care of her. Vasudeva Pravishtadihi. Her consciousness was always in the remembrance of Lord Vasudeva, Kapila, like that. She was protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once when surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, the Lord takes charge of. One second. Lord takes the charge of.
Yeah, no.
So Lord takes the charge of such a maintenance of a devotee's body, and there is no need of anxiety for its protection. So especially for pure devotees or great devotees who are completely dependent on Supreme Lord, we see that Krishna may personally take care of their body, because yes, these are the great Premi Bhaktas, right? For us, we should make sure that we take care of our bodies. For Vaishnavas, Krishna acts through the devotees, right? So, sadhakas, if Vaishnavas are telling us so that we make sure to take care of body properly, so we should act on that. We should not wait for the Lord to come and protect us in the sense of taking personal care or instruction on that. We take instructions from devotees, spiritual master, and make sure that we remain healthy as much as possible for Krishna's service. Evam sa kapilokteena margena chiratah param atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavantam avapaha.
My dear Vidura, by following the principle instructed by Kapila, Devhuti soon become liberated from the material bondage, and she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul without difficulty.
Yeah, so you can see that in this way, practicing the Nirguna Bhakti as instructed by Kapila, very soon she avapa, she attained whom Bhagavantam, she attained the Supreme Lord Bhagavan, Paramatmanam, he is actually the Paramatma, Brahma Nirvanam, and he is the one who is attaining the Supreme Lord is like attaining the aspect of liberation also. And so, in this section, 2-3 places, the verses, they always are mentioning this point that her attaining Bhagavan, she had attained all other features. That's how Maitreya is speaking here again and again. Because it is very clear that she is practicing Bhakti Yoga by prior verses and all that. So by Bhakti Yoga, that too, she was completely attached to her son, and she is worshipping her son, remembering her son Kapila. And by that it is mentioned she attained Brahma Nirvana, or she attained the Paramatma, she attained the Bhagavan. So this shows that this aspect of Bhagavan is including everything else very clearly. So although sometimes these words, for someone who has learned philosophy in an analytical manner, it may appear to carry a certain sense, but then these are actually used as synonyms. She achieved Bhagwan, that is clear from the context. And that Bhagwan is also glorified as Paramatma, because he is. And that attainment is also glorified as Brahma Nirvana, because that's the supreme liberation. Brahma Nirvana means liberation. So somebody achieves Bhagwan, then it is actually liberation. It is supreme liberation, rather. Nirvana means, okay, 3 words have been used in this connection to describe achievement of Devhuti. Atmanam, Brahma Nirvanam, Bhagavantam. These refer to the gradual process of discovery of absolute truth. Absolute truth here in this way. Nirvana means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. So obviously she has achieved it because she is going back to spiritual world. It is to be understood that Devahuti entered the planet called as Kapila Vaikuntha, because there is a planet called Kapila Vaikuntha that is spoken in Shastra. That Kapila, he resides there eternally. There is also Vaikuntha planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha, to which Devahuti was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. So Mother Devahuti, she worshipped the Lord Kapila with great love, and then she attained the association of her transcendental son Kapila Vaikuntha. तद्विरासीत पुण्यतमं क्षेत्रं त्रैलोक्य विश्रुतं नामना सिद्ध पदम यत्र सा संसिद्धिम उपेयुषी.
The place where Devotee achieved her perfection, my dear Vidura, is understood to be a most scared spot. It is known to all over the three world as Siddha Pada.
Yeah, that is the most sacred path, sacred spot, and it is known as Siddha Pada, where she achieved the perfection. That place where she achieved perfection near this Bindu Sarovar. तस्यास्तद्योग विधुतमार्त्यम मर्त्यम अभुत्सरित स्रोतसाम प्रवरा सौम्य सिद्धिदा सिद्ध सेविता.
Dear Vidura, the material elements of her body have melted into the water and a now flowing river, which is the most scared of all rivers. Anyone who bathes in that river also attains perfection, and therefore all persons who desire perfection go bath there.
Yeah, this word is sacred, Pooja, sacred.
Sacred.
If you put C and A here, then it becomes scared, which means very fearful. Sacred means which is very purifying, like that. So her body, Martyam, which had become completely purified by that bhakti, yoga vidhuta martyam. So we see that it became sarit, it became a river. So her body turned into a river actually. She did not leave the body. She went back home, back to Godhead, Kapila Vaikuntha, and her body became a river. And this river is said to be Siddhida, Siddha Sevita. So the great Siddhas and all, they also serve these waters. They bathe in these waters and they worship these waters, because that is actually the the body of Mother Devahuti turned into in that way. And that what those waters give siddhi for those who are looking for perfection in bhakti. We see that those waters, they bestow that perfection. Kapilopi Mahayogi Bhagavan Piturashramat Mataram Samanuज्ञाप्य Pragutichim Disham Yayo.
My dear Vidura, the great sage Kapila, the personality of Godhead, left his father's hermitage with the permission of her mother and went towards the northeast.
Yeah, so Kapila also, before that, we know that Kapila, he had already left. So while leaving, he had taken permission of mother. And then first he went to north, and then later he went to the eastern side, Prak Udichim. So he, leaving her mother's residence, Kapila had gone. This is before only, this happened before. And then Mother Devahuti left later. So Kapila had gone away. He went to northern direction first, and then he went to Ganga Sagar. And he settled there in the Ganga Sagar. Siddhacharana Gandharvair Munibhishchapsaro Ganai Stuyamanaha Samudrena Dattaharana Niketanaha.
While he was passing in northern direction, all the celestial religions known as Charanas, Gandharvas, as well as the Munis and themselves were heavenly planets, prayed and offered him all respect. The ocean offered him oblation and place of residence.
Yeah. So you see, wherever he went, he was glorified by Siddhas, Charnas, Gandharvas, Munis, and all that. So in his travels, traveling in this way, being praised by all these great personalities, finally he settled down near the ocean because the ocean gave him the place to reside, uh, Dattar Hananiketana. So that place is Ganga Sagar. It is mentioned by Acharyas and Prabhupada. It is understood that Kapila Muni first went towards the Himalayas and traced the course of the river Ganges. And he again came to the delta of the Ganges at the sea now known as Bay of Bengal. The ocean gave him a residence at a place still known as Ganga Sagar, where the river Ganges meets the sea. So this is a very popular place, Ganga Sagar. Many of you may have been there. I also once, after the Mayapur Yatra, got to go to Ganga Sagar. So very beautiful place, and even now there is this famous temple of Kapila Muni over there. It is mentioned that the Kapila he left from that place, and it is mentioned even in meaning even now he resides there. Maybe in not so prakata manner, but he resides over there. So Prabhupada says that that is how Kapila he also went away. Aste yogam samasthaya sankhyacharyir abhishputah trayanam api lokanam upashantyai samahitah.
Even now, Kapil Muni is staying there in trance for the deliverance of conditioned soul in the three worlds. And all the acharyas and great teachers of the system of Sankhya philosophy are worshipping him.
So Maitreya is speaking to Vidura that even now he is there. So he is sitting there even now in great transcendental samadhi, being glorified by the great proponents or teachers of the Sankhya philosophy. This way. Etannigaditam tata yat prushtoham tavanaga kapilasya cha samvado devahutyascha pavana.
My dear son, since you have inquired from me, I have answered. O sinless one, the description of Kapil Dev and his mother and their activity are the purest of all pure discourses.
So this is actually a very, very pure discourse, starting from chapter 25, or even before that, the life of Devahuti, life of Kardama, from chapter 20, 21 itself. We see that, especially the samvada between Devahuti and Kapila, he is saying, I have explained to you because you had asked me about this. So Falashruti is spoken in the last verse. Jaidam manushrunoti yobhitatte Kapila muner matam atma yoga guhyam. Bhagavati kritadi suparnaketa suparnaketau upalabhate bhagavat padarabindam.
The description of the dealings of Kapil Dev, his mother, is very confidential. And anyone who hears and reads this narration becomes a devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is carried by Garuda, and he thereafter enter into the abode of Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. So we can see even the Falashruti of this episode. It is very clearly talking about Yaidam Anushrunoti Yobidhatte. One who hears this description or one who explains this description, Yobidhatte, of Kapila Muni, which is Atma Yoga Guhyam, which is a very confidential Nirguna Bhakti Yoga. Such a person, Bhagavat Padarabindam Upalabhate, very clearly that he achieves the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Right? Bhagavati Kritati Suparna Keto, having placed all his consciousness in the Supreme Lord, one who is having the emblem of Garuda on his flag, Suparna Ketu is another name of Bhagavan. तो उन भगवान सुपर्ण केतु में अपने हृदय को या अपनी चेतना को स्थिर कर कर such person he achieves the lotus feet of Bhagavan. So Falashruti also tells what one will receive by practicing the path spoken by Kapila or hearing. Even Shravanam and Kirtanam of this path can give that destination. So what to speak of practicing? If one hears it with a certain quality, so then that also can give one what to speak of yobhidhatte, meaning one who speaks, instructs, expounds. That is kirtanam. And what to speak of then following it and living and serving with that understanding. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of third canto, 33rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Activities of Kapila. Okay. So end of the third canto is not yet done because that 26, 27, 28, these three will remain. Okay. But that, yes, this chapter is completed now. Thank you very much for your patient listening. If there are any questions you may ask, or we can pause for today. Yes, Vilas Vadan.
Just one small question, Puji. Like Devahuti Mata, her sadhana is shown here. But if like what little bit I understand, if there is a eternal Vaikuntha, so isn't she the Nitya Siddha Parshad of the Lord there in terms of Vishwatama?
She is, yeah.
Then this is for a lok some sikhane ke liye like
Absolutely. This is for lokokti. In between also, you remember one of the verses came, no, where he says that, Achira Deva Avarodhyasi. Soon you will be situated in that stage of complete perfection. So there also Vishwan Chakravarti said, no, Nitya Siddha Matra Bhavepi. She has always, she's situated Nitya Siddha Bhav of Vatsalya. Why is he saying such a thing? Lok Shikshartham Eva Jnaya. And that one should understand that it is only for teaching it to the public. Okay. Yes. Narhari Thakur Prabhu.
Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, I want to ask about the sthana prabhava. We have mentioned that whoever bathes on say, that pond will be liberated. So I already have question about bathing in Radha Kund research places. So it says one with bathes, one with Krishna Prema. So or sometime place influence is also there. Sometime even in spiritual circle we see that temple or some structure is made in some places where not much preaching is happening. So we think that this vastu is not good. So let us change the vastu. This vastu is not, this direction is not good. Too much ghostly influence is here. So let us change the place. So there's such kind of means I hear. So what is the opinion of Shastra about this? Means two question is basically stan and the importance of bathing. Sometime it is said just after bathing you will get Krishna Prem. So, but some details are there. So I want to understand what are that details.
See, point is this, Prabhu, that there is also a certain level of quality of consciousness with which that should be done. Then one will be able to access that kind of thing. Like it is the blessings of bathing in Radha Kund and all, obviously they are not false, they are absolutely true, certainly. But it's that, yeah, one should be able to have such offenseless kind of attitude. One should have that kind of very begging kind of attitude to Radharani. And then with such consciousness, if one is bathing, then one certainly will get love of Godhead. Also, Shastras will not say that you will get love of Godhead immediately as soon as you come out on first step of Radhakund. First step itself, you start experiencing love of Godhead. No, it is that one will receive now. Now it is very certain that one will be blessed by love of Godhead. So, in how much time it comes, depends. But one will receive. There is a certainty now, because that Kunda is so dear to Radharani and also to Sri Krishna that they will certainly bestow the mercy. So very rarely you may find some reference which is speaking like in such concrete terms that as soon as it is done, immediately, on the same day, it will not speak like that. Right? So these things are there, but it's talked about the idea of the nishchiti is spoken, that it is certain now. One will receive that. So we have to also see from that aspect of it is also conditional in one sense. When we are bathing, are we certain that it is aparadh rahit bhav? 100%. I did not have any offensive attitude. I did not have any thoughts of sense enjoyment, or I did not. It was just a pure, very pure remembrance of Krishna and Radharani and like that. So then one will bestow. But these other things also matter so much, no? Our consciousness may not be there. Sometimes we are just bathing, but it's more like, it's like, okay, we have come to Govardhan. So anyway, we don't so much encourage Radhakund bathing also. Prabhupada's mood is that. But if one on very special day, one is bathing in association of devotees or very superiors, seniors, guru, then it's fine. It's wonderful. It's not that Radhakund bathing is barred or something, but it should be done in a very pure consciousness with a very great devotional heart, with some advanced devotees. Best is that. Then then one will receive the benefit. So these benedictions are there, Proji. Sthana Prabhav is certainly there. But when will that effect manifest and all? So that we may have to see. It will manifest sooner or later, depends upon the kind of attitude that one has. So this aspect of quality is there always. But these benedictions are also true. So if one gets the opportunity to utilize them, one is eager. That yes, it is, this benediction is there. So if we get the opportunity to visit, then we want to, we can say, take the benefit of those benedictions. So like that. So these aspects will come in many places. So this is the sthana prabhav, especially the spiritual potency. Certain places promising a certain spiritual potency, then we are very eager to access that. Why not? Isn't it? On the other hand, the other question about certain places being influenced by Vastu or other doshas. So these things, these are proper sciences. They do affect certainly. But especially in places where you have, aspects like Kirtanam, Shravanam going on, execution of bhakti going on. So 10th canto also says, right, in that episode of Putana, uh, Raksho, Rakshognani, that's the verse. It is mentioned that these things don't influence so much where there is constant Shravanam, Kirtanam going on. These places remain immune. Uh, so that's why we don't have to go too much out of the way also to consider Vastu dosha or some, and then spend so much of money trying to correct the situation and all. It's not so much needed and recommended also. Not that we are saying that we all are immune to such effects, but point is a place where, so that's why if one is building a temple, so one takes the Vastu consideration before building only. Otherwise, you build and then you break it, and then again build and again break it, just because you have crores of rupees. So that doesn't make any sense, no? That is wasting Krishna's energy also, actually. So one can, prior days and all, they would take care of building things with a certain understanding. And after that, even if some doshas are there, then they would not care much because one is already constructed the Lord's temple, and so now the things can move. So these are sometimes complex issues. I understand they may be affecting devotees' health and all that, but you see, at least in a place where there is a lot of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam is going on, so to take some very drastic measures to change structures, break, construct something again, just because some Vastu doshas are there and all that, that may not be very wise decision. Uh, it's just a probably fear factor being manipulated by somebody. Uh, Sometimes there is a fear, no? Especially when it comes to health and all, everybody is very fearful. Uh, But you see, prior days and all, Prabhupada, even in initial days, sometimes he built temples on places which were graveyards and all. And still the devotees flourished there. Still they made so many devotees. They made also so much of development through such places and all. So intensifying Shravanam, Kirtanam, those aspects would be actually a better solution than going beyond, going behind all these other yagyas and this Vastu yagya, that Vastu yagya. And sometimes they have different opinions also. One fellow says, this dosha is there. Another fellow says, no, that is not the dosha, this dosha is there. Well, so somebody says, do the yagya in east, somebody says in west, somebody says something. All right, they don't even sometimes agree on each other this way. So if it is something small which we feel that if we do, then it will help in some way, it can be done also. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was not very appreciative of these things, especially when it came to, he would say, Hari Mandiram, when it came to Lord Hari's temple and all. So don't give too much regard. Before you construct, you consider, no problem. Before you constructing something, you can consider all Vastu and everything and make it perfect as per Vastu, no problem. Because you are utilizing all these things also. But once it is built and then saying or like considering these things because of which, and then destroying it or breaking it too much, this, that. So that may be actually not so much recommended that way. So personally, Prabhu, for Vaishnavas, the most auspicious path is of Shravanam, Kirtanam. So if one is remaining focused on that, then we see that these other things and all, they are not needed, or even if one may be facing some sort of health issue or something because of a certain kind of thing. Uh, I don't know how much it is documented. I know places where they constructed something, reconstructed, and thought that the health will improve, and then still devotees are falling more sick, in fact. Uh, तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि ये सोल्यूशन होगा करके, but it's not working also. Sometimes it doesn't work also. So many factors are there in that. We are followers of Nirguna Bhakti, so best is we take the solution also of Nirguna Bhakti. Being practitioner of Nirguna Bhakti, if we start taking too much solution of Karmakandi aspects and all that, then it will conflict at some place, isn't it? It will start conflicting with us. So the way different paths suggest solutions, that is also different solution, right? Like I know, I mean, I keep knowledge of these things little bit. So, one of the very great astrologers in Vrindavan, he was suggesting a devotee that, you don't go for these things. You people are Vaishnavas, he said, that you better do Vaishnava solution, take up some Vaishnava solution. You people are practitioners of Shuddha Bhakti, so why do you want to do all these things? I'm not saying Vastu, something else. It was some kind of black magic, abhichar. So he said that don't get into that. You people should not get into that because you are practitioners of pure Bhakti. Uh, so, yes, that is something which is Vamachar, that is undesirable. But even something gray in between. So we can see if it is within, if it is not spectacularly big change, it's a small thing. If devotees have a feeling we should do, we should do. Otherwise, I can tell you in Vrindavan, there are so many great devotees. They would say that just take the solution of Nirguna Bhakti. Don't run behind this Vastu and Jyotish and Vamachar and all that. No. Uh, have faith in Bhakti process and try to take that solution, that aspect. So yes, Prabhu, there may be multiple perspectives and on that, and especially health, something like health or like that, then people become very sensitive. So then they want to do anything and everything that comes as a solution. So there one then has to take a stand that okay, we represent this path, so we stick to this path like that. So that is what I will say. Okay.
That's okay, but small. I understand it's a complicated thing. It's, means I heard from you, and also means I don't take name, but from one great Maharaj in our society, he
Yeah, I
has
know.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
understand.
so he has that. Although he's a follower of, means not from criticism point of view, I am speaking, philosophical pursuit. So he had that inclination, and he suggests that ideas also. So sometimes it is means reconciliation is sometimes difficult.
Right. So that's what, no, I mean, we even within devotees, you will find varieties of things. So sometimes, yeah, it is like that. People may suggest all different sort of things and all. So I would say Shastra is the criterion, and not this Maharaj or that Maharaj or somebody. We should see what Shastra says. Shastra should be the ultimate criterion, like that, because sometimes the influences come also by one's background and one's yeah, preconceived notions and all these aspects, like that. But we see the lives of our own acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada, how they have led the life and how they have offered the solutions. And we want to lead the life as per that. This way. Of course, it is easy to speak, I understand. Sometimes when it is, we are ourselves suffering by that, then we realize how difficult it is. But what I mean to say is that, yeah, still, at least the understanding wise, we should be clear. Because sometimes what happens, we start also running behind too much, and then it will become jnana karmadi anavritam. You will mix the bhakti with other. Uh, uh, Sometimes these elements start coming in bhakti so much that bhakti will get covered only. The nirguna bhakti aspect will get covered. I know some devotees who see astrological chart for whether they should come out of their home to go for preaching program. Uh, they're coming out of home after seeing the astrological chart. And what is the purpose? To do the preaching program like that. So you can see it's a complete misrepresentation of bhakti process. If you have, it's the most auspicious thing to share Krishna consciousness for a person. And you decide that on the basis of astrology, whether I should do the program today or tomorrow. Uh, Something like deity's welcoming and all, Shastra speaks about those aspects, that it is a very huge thing, right? Pratisthapana and all that. So for that, we should see the muhurta, we should see all these things. But especially sharing Krishna consciousness or Bhagavat Vidhi, so where will it stop? That is my point. If sometimes it starts going into our percolating in the entire system, like that. So that is how we should see. So yes, Prabhu, there will be perspectives and we can respect everyone. But we should see that how Sampradaya Acharyas are looking at these things. Okay. And
So,
that may
yes,
not be
Prabhu,
also
thank you.
easy. That may not be also easy affair. For that, you will have to read, study, go deeply into Shastras. And then we can see that these things. Sometimes some examples like if you are sick, just take the medicine. Similarly, these things are there. No, these examples don't suit actually. These are misleading examples to quote such things, that just like you fall sick and you take medicine, similarly, these paths like Vamachar or these other fringe fields like Vastu and Jyotish are also like that. No, uh, they don't. They will affect your faith. Taking a medicine will not affect your faith. It will not mix. It will not cause bhakti to be covered. But these other things can do that. They can cause bhakti to be covered by these things because of just too much faith on these other aspects. That bhakti may go in background and these things may become more prominent. So that's why we should be very careful on that front. Okay, anyways.
Thank you,
So
Prabhu.
yes, you should respect everyone. I'm not absolutely critical of that fact. But I would accept something if it is being shown and demonstrated by our own acharyas. Then we can accept, not other sampradaya acharyas, because we are following the mood of our own acharyas and Prabhupada, isn't it? Like that. Shastras can speak a lot of things, but you follow the version given by your own acharyas. That's tat karma pravartanat. Uh, that is satonuvratte, like that. So all that. Okay, so this is complex discussion. Let's stop. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so see you all soon. Hare Krishna.
It's just that river, where is that river? Devati
Huh?
meditate. Devati Devi's body meditated, it is mentioned. No?
Yeah.
That which is that river? Is it known or not?
Yeah, it's not mentioned, Prabhu, by any of the commentators. So Maybe if somebody knows some Sthala Puran, I don't know. But at least not commentaries have not mentioned.
But at
Which
least the
river?
place is Bindu Sarovar, where all these things happen.
Place is Bindu Sarovar. Yeah. Place is Bindu Sarovar. Now, Bindu Sarovar is also right debated. Some of them say it's in Gujarat. Some say it's in Orissa. Like that, right? So Bindu Sarovar also, 2, 3 Bindu Sarovars are there. Which one do you have you heard the most?
Bhubaneswar.
Bindu Sarovar from Gujarat?
Bhubaneswar, Guruji.
Bhubaneswar. Okay. Right. Yes. Yes. So, all right. Prabhu. Let us stop. Srila Prabhupada ki.
So on Monday, in the classroom duties will at 10:45 or 11 will be compatible to you.
Yeah. 10:45 should be okay. Yes.
Okay. 10:45 will be good.
Haribol.
Thank you so much, Pradeep.
Thank you. Thank you.